Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. It is 5:02 p.m. Madam Clerk, will we call the roll, please?
Board Member Bailey? Board Member Cannibal? Here. Board Member Davis?
Here.
Board Member Raw? Here. Vice Chairman Fletcher? Here. Chairman Losner?
I'm here. Mr. Director, are there any deletions or deferrals tonight?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, we have before us tab 1, new business, which is the approval of the minutes from October 8th, which are in our package. We have a motion to approve, moved by Board Member Roth, second by Board Member Cannibal. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next item is tab 2, car number 4456, property conveyance for Triangle Project. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Tab 2 is a resolution of the Board of Community Redevelopment Agency to execute an amended and restated county deed attaches Exhibit A to extend the deadline set forth in the original deed restrictions for the development of certain properties, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Good?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as you are all aware, part of the Triangle Project assemblage included properties that were conveyed from Miami-Dade County to the Homestead CRA. Those carry several deed restrictions with them, a few of which relate to timing. The original restrictions required the CRA to have a development agreement executed by January 18th of 2025 and have the project completed and constructed by January 18th of 2027. Staff has worked with the County Commissioner's Office to get those deadlines extended by 2 years. So we would now have until 27 for the agreement and 29 for the construction. This is essentially a precautionary measure to allow us time to finalize our negotiations and give us flexibility with that business plan, and also address foreseen delays related to the sanitary sewer moratorium that impacts the project.
Good, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board on this? Just to clarify, Mr. Good, though, this is in fact this is being sponsored and advocated by the District 9 Commissioner to go before.
Yes, that is correct,
Okay.
Commissioner McGee.
All right. Very good. I'll open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone online or present wishing to speak on this matter. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve. Moved by Board Member Cannibal. Second by Board Member Davis. All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is tab 3, car number 4457. This is a residential rehabilitation grant award for 204 Southwest 15th Place. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Tab 3 is a resolution of the Board of Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of residential improvement grant program funds, approving a grant agreement, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Good?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a residential grant award recommendation for the homeowners, Mr. and Mrs. Jackie and Annie Berger, at the home at 204 Southwest 15th Place. They have applied for a scope of work that mitigates plumbing and electrical issues in the home's 2 bathrooms. We are recommending an award up to the cap of $20,000. There are no matching funds required, and the homeowners are present in the audience if you have any questions.
All right, so if the homeowners just stand up so we can see that you're here. Hey, welcome, thanks for coming. All right, any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. All right, we'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve? Moved by Board Member Ross, seconded by Board Member Davis. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right. Any further reports, Mr. Good?
I just want to take this opportunity. As you are all aware, my last day with the city and the CRA will be this Friday as I move on to a new chapter in my career. And I just wanted to take this moment to thank each of you, the executive director, Mr. Ihe Kwaba, my colleagues, and my staff, especially Leslie Buell, the assistant director, who has really stepped up to the plate and been extremely helpful over these past few months. And just wanted to thank all of you for the opportunity, and that this will be see you later. I'm not changing my phone number.
Oh, thank you, I guess. And I know this because I think I signed a 10-year certificate for it in recognition of your 10 years. I can't help but reflect as to how much has been accomplished or transpired, and the environment we've lived in here for the past 10 years. You've seen quite a lot. I appreciate it. My question to you, in relation to the last item, do we have more interior rehab applications in the pipeline?
My understanding is that that we do have a few in the pipeline. These fall more into the emergency repairs category, and that they're mitigating a leak or an electrical issue rather than the enhancement.
This was just more of a rehab, okay? So,
Correct.
yeah. So with respect to rehab, I know you got an emergency issue, so we do have some other rehabs in the pipeline.
Yes.
1, 2, 5.
So there's one that includes interior scope, and the other that's currently in the pipeline is in exterior. It's a roof.
Well, my focus, my question
Yeah.
would be as to interior, non-emergency interior. And I don't know if tonight's the time to have that discussion, or at some point, some policy discussion as to whether or not that's really the focus we want to continue with, or whether this needs to be more in terms of exterior, really focusing on the appearances toward the elimination of slum and blight conditions versus interior renovations. And maybe our next CRA meeting, we might want to have that policy discussion, not to foreclose anything that's already been applied for. I hope that maybe we can. I don't know if discourage is the correct word, but kind of think about where our focus will be from here on out.
We can certainly take a look at that direction as we see new applications coming in.
Sure.
And Leslie was saying that we have been targeting those that we know have an exterior problem for outreach.
Right.
So those will hopefully be the bulk going forward.
Yeah, and I really think that's where, barring the emergency situation, the interior really does nothing for the neighborhood or the area at large. Okay, anything further from council, or are there any further public comments for the CRA? Hearing none, then I would happily entertain a motion for adjournment. Moved by the vice chair, seconded by board member Roth. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we will momentarily open the special call meeting. Okay. Well, again, good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call a special call meeting of the City Council for the City of Homestead to order. The day is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, and it is now 5:12 p.m. Have a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Cannavale? Councilman Davis? Councilman Ron?
Here.
Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Here.
Mayor Losner?
Here. All right. Our first item tonight is a second reading, tab 1, car number 4440, fiscal year 2024, final budget amendment. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Tab 1 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for each of the several departments within the general fund with an overall net zero effect on the total budget of the general fund of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023, ending September 30th, 2024, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Manager, is this Mr. Perez's show?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This is the second reading of the 2024 final budget amendment, and again, this is just to true up some Department of funds that would need funding for unexpected expenditures. A perfect example is the City Manager's Department. We had during the year, we had a departure of the previous manager. The severance pay was something that was unbudgeted, so therefore that was one department that needed the funding.
All right, very good. Any questions or comments from council? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to approve? Moved by Cannonball, seconded by Councilman Roth. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Cannibal? Councilman Davis? Councilman Roth? Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And next item is tab 2, and it's also a second reading on car number 4441, fiscal year 2025 budget amendment for purchase order rollover from fiscal year 2024. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. As you noted, tab 2 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for each of the several funds and departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $17,084,569, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to waiving the staff report on this second reading? All right, approval has been moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilman Cannonball. Let's open the public hearing. Any commentary? I'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Councilman Davis? Councilman Cannibal? Councilman Roth? Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And next, moving on to tab 3, this is a second reading on car number 4442, a fiscal year 2025 budget amendment, funding for citywide enterprise permitting and licensing solution. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, tab 3 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budget for the general fund of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $1,132,450, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you, sir. Any objection to waiving the staff report? Didn't think so. Moved by Councilman Roth, second by Councilman Cannonball. Are there any public comments? I will close the public hearing and ask for a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Roth? Councilman Davis? Councilman Cannibal? Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And next is tab 4, car number 4477. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, tab 4 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, authorizing the city manager to purchase furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the Code Compliance Department and the Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department in accordance with the State of Florida Alternative Source Contract, exempting the transaction from competitive bidding in accordance with Section 2-411.1A5 of the City Code, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, sir. We discussed this at the CAL. This is with respect to furnishing the new code enforcement building. The opposition to waiving the staff report. We have a motion to approve. Second, moved by Councilman Cannonball, seconded by Vice Mayor Fletcher. Any public comment? Yeah, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a roll call vote.
Councilman Davis? Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilman Cannibal? Yes. Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And moving on to tab 5, which is car number 4455, call center solution. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, tab 5 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a wrap services agreement for call center support services and a supplemental services agreement for providing for additional services with Sarita Investment Corp., DBA AnswerNet, exempting the services under the WRAP Services Agreement from competitive bidding in accordance with Section 2-411.1A5, and exempting the services under the Supplemental Services Agreement from competitive bidding in accordance with City Code Section 2-411B, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Any objection to waiving the staff report? All right, let me open the public hearing very quickly. Anyone here wishing to speak on this matter? We'll close the public hearing, and we have a motion to approve. Moved by Councilman Davis, seconded by Councilman Cannibal. Let's have a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Avila? Councilman Cannibal? Councilman Davis? Councilman Roth? Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And Mr. Manager, tab 6.
So, Mr. Mayor, Council, tab number 6, car number 4476. The administration is proposing to defer this item to the first meeting in January, which is January 14th, at a special call. This item, we propose to move this. The entity related urban group is being apprised to be prepared to come to council to do a full-blown presentation and also to aspire to brief each and every one of you prior to that date.
Good, thank you, sir. Do we have a motion to defer? Moved by Councilman Cannibal, seconded by Vice Mayor Fletcher. Are there any questions or comments from council? Councilwoman Avila.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to just add to the record that the proposer did respectfully request a deferral, which I'm happy to do. But this project includes renderings with stories, I think, over 6 stories. So this is something that I want to just make sure my colleagues are aware of when you're reviewing the item with the developer, that you keep that in mind, because we had hefty conversations at our last meeting about not wanting to see anything over 6 stories, and this is definitely one of those. Okay, so keep that in mind. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. And welcome. All right. I think we had a motion and a second to defer. All right. Any public comment? A roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Avila? Yes. Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilman Davis? Yes. Councilman Cannibal? Yes. Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And again, that's for the date certain of January 11th, 14th.
14th.
Okay. That concludes the formal agenda for the special call. Is there anything further from any council member for this meeting? Mr. Manager, anything further?
None.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn the special call? Moved by Councilwoman Avila, seconded by Councilman Davis. Roll call, or no, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, this meeting is adjourned, and we will move into the committee of the whole meeting in just a moment. If you need 5 or 2, take it. No cookies, no elevator ride. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Committee of the Whole meeting to order. It's still Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, and it is now 5:29 PM. Let's have a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Avila? Here. Councilman Davis?
Here.
Councilman Roth? Councilman Cannibal? Vice Mayor Fletcher?
Here.
Mayor Losner?
Here. Are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals, Mr. Manager?
None, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have before us the minutes of November 12th, 2024 for approval. We have a motion. Moved by Councilman Davis, seconded by Councilman Cannibal. All in favor? Any opposed? Tab 2 is a motion to place car number 4464 on the council agenda. This is an award of the City Hall generator project rebid. Mr. Manager?
So this project is being funded by a special hazard mitigation grant by FEMA up to the total sum of $208,000. The current generator we have in City Hall is not appropriately sized for the requirements of this building. So we had to look for an additional, much more appropriate generator that will service the building. And the existing generator is going to be relocated to another city facility, preferably the PD building, to provide some kind of resilience and support for the PD.
Any questions or comments from council? Okay, let me open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to put this on the council agenda? Moved by Councilman Cannibal, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is tab 3, and this is a motion to place car number 4303 on the council agenda. This is City of Homestead surplus property. Mr. Manager?
So there is an attached miscellaneous item list that lists out all the products and equipment and vehicles that have outlived their usefulness and time, that are no longer adequate for their intended purpose. So the intention here is to put this out for a public auction, and the revenue that recovered is placed back in the funding source, and also perhaps in any restricted funding where they originally came from. Traditionally, the monies will go back into a general fund or any restricted funding source. So we're asking for permission to put out this for an auction.
Very good, thank you. Any questions from council? It's been a long time since we've seen this, and there's certainly a voluminous list of things that need to leave the backyard, so to speak. Yes, we will. Yes,
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman?
Yes, I was mentioning to staff during my briefings, and I would definitely support an item, and I think the Vice Mayor might bring it in the future, where we can maybe earmark the proceeds or a portion of these proceeds into a fund for us to be able to sponsor activities or even earmark it for capital improvement projects. But if we can capture these proceeds from the sales and put it to specific use like that, I would be able to support an item. Thank you.
There again, certainly these sales will happen after, consideration of that, certainly. And we have the ability to do that even in the absence of. Okay, is there anyone wishing to speak on this matter? Let me close the public hearing. I think this was moved by Councilman Cannibal. We have a second. Second by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is tab 4, and this is a motion to place car number 4465 on the council agenda, and this is Harrisfield Park Gymnasium lighting upgrade. Mr. Manager.
So we currently have about 40 of those lights that have been old, aged, metal halide lighting that we want to convert and replace with a LED. The funding is about $55,000, which is being sourced from the parking part fees. We're asking for permission to proceed.
Absolutely. Questions for council? Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor. What is the approximate downtime for the gym that this would create, if any?
Pedro? while we're waiting for the parks director to give us the downtime, the total timeline for completion will be 3 months, 90 days for completion.
Thank you, Zeri. If this is not something that can be done during off-use hours, then we really need to make sure we inform the interested parties that are utilizing the gym now or that are on waiting lists and hoping to get in the summertime. This would start when, more or less, if approved tonight?
Well, it's not going to be approved tonight. This is just to be placed on the next meeting on
Right,
the
for
consent
next week,
agenda.
right?
Then once we cut a PO, they have 3 months. Once we cut a PO with a notice to proceed, they have 3 months to complete. My recommendation, there are only 40 of those. We can phase it in. Don't turn all of them down at the same time. Do the first 10. That's what I'm saying now. They shouldn't take all of them down at the same time. Do the first 10, the second 10, just like maybe over that 3-month period, stagger and phase them out so that the impact will be minimal.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think your question is, are we going to put folks who are using the gym now out of business? And the answer is no.
There will be minimal impact. Let's face facts. There will be minimal impact. So I expect that it will be expedited in terms of taking out and replacement. But if you limit the number you do in one shot, the impact is minimized.
Thank you. If we can just be made aware of what the ultimate, logistics on that will be, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Did we have a motion? Yeah, we moved by Councilman Avila, second by Councilman Cannonball. Let me open a public hearing very quickly. We'll close the public hearing. All in favor? Any opposed? Next is tab 5, and this is a motion to place car number 4451 on the council agenda, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, C6N196, fiscal year 23. Is that correct? Community policing and engagement. Mr. Manager?
So we are getting about $13,000 from the state FDLE for law enforcement overtime for community policing in order to ensure continuity of police services in the city. I know it might look minimal, but it's going to go a long way in terms of assisting us to sustain service delivery.
Thank you. Any questions from council? All right. Go ahead.
Just want to make sure we're meeting the letter of the law. It does say FY '23, not FY '25.
No, it says timeline is
No,
October.
but if you look in the title, it says fiscal year '23, community policing and engagement. Don't know if that's a typo or not, Zoe.
I will verify that. Okay.
All right. So we've opened and closed the public hearing. We have a motion to place this on the agenda. Moved by Councilman Avila, second by Councilman Cannonball. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next item, tab 6. This is a motion to place car number 4453 on our council agenda, the Miami-Dade County Signatory Law Enforcement Agencies. Mr. Manager?
So this is a special program in, more or less, this is a housekeeping. So Miami-Dade County, the whole 34 municipalities and the county itself have what they call a Dade Chiefs Association. So this item is a mutual aid agreement that you have to sign in, be a signature, for you to be part of the Dade Chiefs and participate in all sharing of resources and assistance. So this item is going to allow our PD department to become a member of the Dade Chiefs Association and enjoy all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Very good, thank you. Any questions or comments from council? We have a motion, moved by the Vice Mayor. Second by Councilman Davis. Let me open the public hearing. If there's any public comment, appearing none, I'll close the public hearing. All in favor? Any opposed? Next is tab 7. This is a motion to place car number 4443 on the council agenda, a Miccosukee Tribe of Indians Police Department mutual aid. Mr. Manager.
So this is a mutual aid between the City of Homestead PD and Miccosukee Tribe of Indians PD as well. It's an agreement in principle. Why? This allows both agencies to tap into each other's resources on need basis. So it's a bi-directional mutual aid. Either party can request for assistance as need arises.
Very good. We have mutual aid agreements with many, many agencies. All right, moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilman Cannonball. We open the public hearing. No comments appearing. I'll close the public hearing and ask for a roll call vote in favor of the motion. All in favor?
Councilman Campbell?
No, I'm sorry, we didn't need a roll call, right? No. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Sorry about that. Okay, next item is tab 8. This is a motion to place car number 4480 on the council agenda. And this is the Office of the Attorney General VOCA grant. Mr. Manager?
So the city's PD is receiving a grant of $110,000 from the state for VOCA, which is victim of crime assistance. Essentially, what this does is to provide services for victims of crime to receive judicial support, relocation assistance, such as hotel stays, and also to mitigate the traumatic impact of crime that have affected them. This is going to be done through SOS at the police department for $110,000.
Very good, thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Okay, so let me ask you this. Is this in part, and I understand that it would be in part, is this duplicating efforts with what Christie House does, and now they've established a home in Homestead? Are we thinning out the money rather than one agency or another to help with, and I guess, Christie House is focused on violence against women and children, and I know that there are other portions of this grant, but rather than SOS duplicating efforts of Christie House, maybe, I don't know if it's too late for this, maybe look, they've made a huge investment in downtown Homestead.
So I think there's no restriction in terms of gender of recipients of these grants. So this is much more relaxed and reflective of the general population. The Christie House is primarily for female gender, women and children, and this allows even men that are victims of crime to tap into these resources. In addition to providing for accommodation support, it also addresses judicial and law enforcement needs, litigation assistance, and explaining how folks can navigate the legal system.
Right,
so this is much more comprehensive.
I get that the scope of this grant
It's higher.
is wider than the focus of Christie House. Just,
That's correct.
thinking out loud for future, to get more bang for our buck rather than having SOS be involved in all of that. If we have a bigger, more beneficial provider start looking at farming some of that out in the future. All right.
So,
let me open the public
just
hearing.
in passing, if you look at the city's current budget, we are starting off a human services section in the city, which ties into all this. Some of the services rendered through PD should not even be housed there. It should be part of the human services department, which is what we're trying to start. And I think we're having a meeting on Friday with the just retired directors from the county and the public city of Miami that have handled human services, homelessness, and all type of related services for those that are really vulnerable. So this is something that eventually will transition into that department.
For reasons well known to the folks at SOS, I'm glad to hear that we're going to bring it into a more transparent and accountable under the roof of this building. All right, so let me open the public hearing and see if there's any public comment. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to approve? Moved by Councilman Cannibal, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Okay. Any opposed? All right. Next item is tab 10, correct? Our motion to place car number 9. I skipped over 9. All right. Turn the page. Yes. This is tab 9, motion to place car number 4445 on the agenda, the State of Florida Emergency Management. Mr. Manager?
So this is a mutual aid between the city of Homestead and the state of Florida as well as emergency management to provide a template and an agreement for us to request for assistance from FEMA when PD is deployed to other areas. Currently, the existing agreement was the 2021 version. Things have changed, standards have changed, so this is a required update to 2023 standards. And this allows us to seek reimbursement once PD gets deployed to other cities or jurisdictions. So we're asking council to allow this to proceed.
Very good. Mr. Vice Mayor?
This also includes electric utility employees that are just PD services.
This is essentially PD. I'm not too sure whether it's in part of the electric.
Because I know we do send,
We have a different, I'll check what we have for the
okay,
electric.
that's all.
Our crews travel extensively. Good question. Thank you, Vice Mayor. So if there are no further questions or comments from council, let me open a public hearing. Okay, seeing no one wishing to speak on this matter, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion to place this on the agenda. It's been moved by Councilman Cannonball, second by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Any opposed? Now, tab 10, motion to place car number 4461 on the council agenda. Florida Department of Transportation, Public Transportation Grant Agreement. Mr. Manager.
So existing contract that we have with the state FDOT is allowing us to get an additional grant of approximately $121,000 for the expansion of the freebie program. So in addition to this free on-demand transportation service being operated by Freebie, 3 additional Tesla vehicles will be added to the fleet. And we also, in addition, is trying to look into the transportation master plan that we're providing, see how we can expand the scope. The grant is for $121,000 approximately. It requires the city to provide a match of the same amount. So we're going to utilize the PTP funds to provide a match for this, while we seek to expand the coverage of freebie services in Homestead and perhaps explore additional public transportation options, including STS, which is the Special Transportation Service, that has a much more robust and also flexible requirement that allows you to go from your home to the doctor's office, to the dentist, to the grocery store, which freebie doesn't allow you to go anywhere other than it must originate or terminate in downtown. So we're looking for other additional options as well as this moves forward.
Very good, thank you. We look forward to when we talked about this analysis of the number of rides in freebie and where they're going versus the cost per ride of the trolley. That may very well phase out ultimately. All right, so let me open the public hearing on this. Close the public hearing. Any questions or comments from council? Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I just wanted to echo that during my briefings, I did ask if we could maybe have some kind of presentation, and maybe public forum here is not what we all want, but I will be asking for at least a one-on-one, just to get a better idea as to what the ridership is and have a better, clear understanding as to the pickup and drop-off zones, because there is some ambiguity. And the app as well is not the best of use, so, thank you.
Freebie?
Yeah, thank you.
I think staff has reached out to Freebie. Tentatively, we're looking at a meeting in February for them to do a presentation to council.
Very good. All right. So, if there's nothing further, do we have a motion to place this on the agenda? Moved by Councilwoman Avila. Second by Councilman Davis. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, tab 11. This is a motion to place car number 4471 on the council agenda. Florida Department of Transportation Occupant Protection Grant Award. Mr. Manager.
Well, that's a very fanciful name. We are receiving $87,000 in grant from FDOT to assist PD with their enforcement of seat belts, which is what's the real scope of work is for seatbelt enforcement and related infringements. Even though it says lack of use of occupant protection devices, it's essentially about seatbelt enforcement. It's for $87,000, and it's between now, upon execution of the agreement, up until the end of the fiscal year, September 30th, 2025.
Very good, thank you. And this is at least the third year we've had this funding?
That's correct.
Very good. Questions or comments from council? All right, let me open the public hearing. Okay, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to place this on the agenda. Moved by Councilwoman Avila, seconded by Vice Mayor Fletcher. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, tab 12 is car number 4449, and this is for discussion of the 2025 legislative priorities. You'll kick it off, Mr. Manager, and we'll all turn to that item.
So the feedback and feedback we're getting from the states and from our lobbyists is that the Florida House of Reps will, and also the Senate, will convene the traditional 60-day legislative session on March 4th, 2025. In anticipation of this, the administration has prepared the attached legislative priorities, asking for council to take a look at it and provide guidance in terms of priorities. And also, this list is not exhaustive, it's open for additions. If after tonight, or maybe after the next meeting when it passes and we transmit it to the lobbyists, council decides and wishes to update the list, it's always available to update. But we need to pass this as soon as and quickly as we can so that our folks can get to work in terms of start outreach and sharing the information with the elected officials, both at the state and federal level. We've identified what we consider the main priorities, which we can share tonight, while asking you to either bless, amend, substitute, or perhaps recommend something else so we can move forward. If you go through the attachments on the item, I believe starting from page 4, in terms of the actual infrastructure appropriations request that we are seeking, we are targeting mainly things that will address and support business relocation to Homestead, as well as what we consider resiliency of existing buildings and residential. Chrome Avenue gravity sewer upsizing, as well as the Flagler Avenue gravity sewer, and the counterpart water mains on those two major corridors in the CRA area. We're asking for funding from either the state or the federal, depending on where our lobbyists can find money. And in general, just like I've said in the past, there are a number of areas in the city that has undersized, small-sized, inadequate, non-standard water mains and sewer mains. We're asking for money to be able to upgrade those facilities. We don't have to wait until there is an emergency before we realize that this is a major challenge in the city. Those are actually the major components of the water and sewer infrastructure, priority number 1. Then we go on the transportation side, on the right-of-way infrastructure improvements. There are certain bridges in the city that's based on inspections, the 5 yearly required inspections carried by the state. They've been deemed to be obsolete. So we're asking for funding support from either the state or the federal government to be able to get them resolved and repaired and placed back into functional use. If you go to, there are a whole lot of projects, but the ones I'm mentioning are the ones we consider to be highest priority at this point. On page 8 is the Homestead Regional Park, because it's a major infrastructure development in the city. We've decided to break it down into 6 phases for construction purposes. We did this because we anticipate no one is going to give us the entire amount of money in one shot. So we decided to see phase 1 and phase 2 will be considered highest priority in that. And the scope of work is briefly itemized on that list. Then on page 9, Police Department and Emergency Management. I think it's kind of concerning that Homestead has been on a direct hit of hurricane. I've told the county emergency manager when I invited him over to Homestead that one of the highest priorities the county should have undertaken is to build an emergency operations center in Homestead, because this is ground zero of Hurricane Andrew. Obviously, there's none today. So we're proposing, through the supports and recommendation of Councilman Tom Davis, to add this as one of our highest priorities. While we're seeking to have a police substation on the east side of the city, to sweeten it and make it palatable for funding, we add the Emergency Operations Center to that facility, perhaps on a city-owned land. We anticipate the initial funding request will be up to $15 million. If we're able to get this from the federal government, we're home free. But we have a compelling story to tell that Homestead has been on a direct hit. No one has paid any attention to address this. We don't have to wait for a second challenge like that for us to realize that we've been missing in action. So I ask for council to consider these priorities and recommendations, and feel free to adjust this list. I must caution that this list is not exhaustive again. We intend to give the entire package to our lobbyists. While you're focusing on the priority items, anywhere they find money available for the remainder of the items, feel free to move forward with them. The list is not exhaustive. We'll continue to update it as go by, and we wish and we invite council to update it as well. Thank you. So, well, this is for the CAR meeting. You move it to the next meeting and approve the list or amend the list. We transmit it immediately to our lobbyists and the elected officials as well.
Both state and federal.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Fletcher.
Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't ask this question earlier, Mr. Manager, but can we get a breakdown of the legislative grants that we've received since 2020 to present, so we can kind of see where we stood with getting state and federal monies? This is a lot of money that we're asking for, and I get it, but we all need to jump on board and make sure we're not missing something that we got previously, but still able to go forward and get some of these others. This is an excellent list, but I have some ideas to add to it as well. So, and I'm sure we all do. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Reviewing the list, my top priorities would be the wastewater collection systems and distribution systems, the substation on the east side with an emergency center. That'd be fantastic. And then also, if we could get some funding to add a park in my district on the east side. I'm not trying to compete with our regional park, but if there happens to be a discussion and extra funding available, I'd love to have it. Something like a dog park, something a little passive, would be great for the east side. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Councilman. Well, any comments on the list? Councilman Roth?
Yeah, just one. I was looking through the bridge one for Southwest 152 Avenue. We had talked about them actually widening the entire roadway from North Canal to Campbell. And I think about 18 months ago, they told us it would be done in 18 months. And there has been no progress. So is there any updates? This reminded me of that project, that widening needs to happen sometime soon. And this money might be earmarked for something else if they're already going to do the improvements on that bridge.
So we're actually speaking with the developer that impact that area to see if we can use the TPO money and also the impact fees at the county to see whether that could be part of this funding for this project. We just engaged a transportation engineering expert, Ms. Alice Bravo, I think about a week and a half ago. She's a retired Miami-Dade County Director of Transportation and Planning, as well as a retired Director of Transportation for the state, to champion the usage of this county money to see if we can kind of direct it for these projects, the transportation projects, while liaising with all the developers that impact that whole area in terms of how they can assist and championing whatever impact fee they pay to the county on roadway impact fee, designate that for some of these roadway project expansions that we talked about.
Okay, so just for clarifications, the people that were in the city before that told us this project should be completed in 18 months.
I think we had this conversation when I got here newly, and we found out that there was no project in design at all. So that's why we initiated the planning for funding to be properly assessed while we engaged a consultant to do the design of those roadway expansions. There was a challenge from one of the developers that there was no right-of-way. We demonstrated there was right-of-way there for the expansion of the roadway to 4 lanes. At the last, I think one of the TPO meetings we attended, we spoke with Eileen Buckley, and she was of the opinion that the city can actually tap into some of the roadway impact fees that has been paid in the past and that has not been used ever. It's just sitting there, which made us to look for a more transportation planner, somebody that has reach. It's not everything I should say on the record, that can assist us to facilitate the expedite of this process. Without money, you ain't going to be able to pay a consultant to do the design. Neither can we do the construction part of it.
Sorry, so as we look to the future, there's only 2 roadways that I can think of that aren't 4-laned that are south of Campbell Drive. 152 Avenue is one of them, and then East Mowry is the other one.
Yeah.
So with all that development that's planned to come in that corridor over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to need some relief in that area. So I don't know who has the jurisdiction over 152 Avenue. I'm assuming that the bridge is covered by a different agency altogether. It's not covered by the county because that goes over a waterway.
So the bridges are usually the entity having jurisdiction over a street or roadway has jurisdiction over the bridge itself.
Okay.
So if 152 Avenue is a City of Homestead corridor under our jurisdiction, we also have jurisdiction over the bridge. However, the 5-yearly inspection of every bridge in the state of Florida is undertaken by FDOT. So they would give you the report, which they've already furnished us, and some of these bridges are inadequate in functionality, which is why the project is live. What has happened in the past, I cannot speak to, because it was represented to council that there was a design for some of these corridors and the bridges, whereas there was none.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to ask through the manager, on Vice Mayor's recommendation to have a list. I'd like for that list to go back to 2020. So if we could get the list of awards from 2020 to 2024. And we didn't change our lobbyists during that time, right? It was the same?
Right.
So, and if I could just get a fresh...
There were a lot of vetoes over that time.
Right,
that
right.
passed by the legislature and not.
But just the
not
final
finally
award,
approved. Yeah.
the ones that we just had a final check received for, I'd like to get the list and an updated copy of the contacts for our lobbyists. Thank you.
Can I just add
Sure.
one more thing? As I looked through it, I didn't really see too many health services related asks to. And in the past, we've gotten the breast cancer one for like $500,000 to do mammograms and breast cancer testing. I don't see it in here at all. Can we add that back into this? Because we've been awarded that before, and the chances are we'll probably get that one again.
Okay.
Vice Mayor Fletcher, and then Councilman Davis.
Yeah, sorry, quickly, I know kind of something new for all of us, I think. There's a lot of different projects each of us asked to be done over the time, and we don't seem to have a running list of what those are. Can we create a list of these ideas that each of us come up with and have a routine update on those so all of us kind of know what's happening? That way we're not up here asking questions all the time. We have a list that we can refer to more commonly. And I know you're the civil engineer. I just want to come back to, with all the issues that we have with bridges and the 5-year inspections, let's look at putting culverts in lieu of bridges. I can take you to places, 3 or 4 different places within 5 miles of City Hall that they've done that in the last 10 years. And it allows for heavier roads, and you don't have to do those inspections routinely. And it's over South Florida water management canals that they've done this. So just something that's probably less of a cost impact long term or short term, and less of a research impact and review impact from FDOT long term. Something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank you and the city manager for the opportunity to work with the police and the team to get that police substation on the east end. That's a very big deal. We really need that. The population is growing out there. We're aware of it. It's months down the road. We know it, but you got to start. You got to start working in that direction. But as we continue to move forward, I would leave my colleagues with the notion that what we're doing today with all of these, what is the impact going to be 30 years from now? How are we going to entice spaceport here to Homestead? Are these things working together to reach those major, major goals. And I think that they're all great. I think these are all great things. But what are they doing that we're going to reach that goal of pulling in all those jobs of a spaceport to our community? And I think that's something that we should keep mindful of as we continue to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so I looked at this kind of with eyes that this was, for this coming year, and I get that some of this is going to be a rolling list, but I think we need to have some resolution on the idea of a cafe and a fountain in Lossner Park. I thought we had put that to bed. I don't know that there's room. I don't know that we should build a restaurant to go into competition. That's in here. That in competition with private folks doing bricks and mortar. I think we authorized some kind of mobile water feature a year ago, more than a year ago, and it has yet to arrive. I mean, that was championed by Councilwoman Fairclough Staggers. So that's been, right at a year now. But I just don't know that, look, that park's become a victim of its success. I think Saturday night demonstrates that. And I don't know that we really have, philosophically, I don't support putting any kind of cafe or restaurant in the park. I don't think we should compete with the public sector in that regard. And, I don't know that we have room for, a permanent water feature. We have too many other needs, I think, to go off on a wild goose chase for that. So, I'd like to kind of get a feel from where you all are, at least for, let's set that aside and forget about those additions, those particular additions to the park that are in this list. And if it came from any of you all, I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but I've never supported that. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I think that the item is a rollover from prior lists. I do think that we could use some improvement in Lossner Park when it comes to having more swings. I would prefer more swings than taking up space with water feature. Although I would love some water feature if there was room in there,
It
but
would
it's
be
not a
nice.
priority for
No.
this list. I wouldn't mind.
Play area would be more of a priority.
Right, exactly, like an interactive water play area. With regards to the cafe, the adjacent brick and mortars can support that need. I think even with the Seminole Theater, they have a license for food and beverage there, and so if that could be expanded or just utilized to its optimal use, we could serve the need through that. There was also discussion about using one of our buildings across the street of Lossner
The
Park.
Old
for a
Town
cafe.
Hall,
Right. So
potentially.
so I don't necessarily think we should delete it forevermore from the list, but hide it this year. So definitely hiding some of these lower, totem pole items. Thank you.
Well, and I'd like to add to that list the Homestead Live project. I mean, we have Lossner Park. We have a charrette that envisions one bang-up entertainment venue with stage and entertainment-type venues here.
Is that the live you're referring to?
The Homestead Live was
In the
Ms.
CRA?
Driver's project
Got
down in
it.
the Southwest. That I think there's been a determination made that there's really not enough space. We've been advised by the adjoining private property owner that he is not interested in selling to the city. So again, at least for maybe the next couple of years, we set that aside.
Just for clarity, Mr. Mayor, are you recommending Homestead Live as part of the priorities or simply to stay on the list? Out.
Taking the Fountain and Cafe
Yeah,
out of
I got that.
Lossner Park
I got that.
and the
Homestead Live.
and Homestead Live, just remove, not appearing on the list, but not disappearing
Okay.
forever. And certainly, I've always, I hope before the remaining 3 years is up here, that we can see undergrounding of utilities far outside the Southwest. I don't want to see that limitation. That may be a separate CRA project. A lot of different, the east side was constructed and they were required to have underground. When I look at the Washington Alley, for example, and the side streets of Chrome Avenue, much less the northwest neighborhoods, I would like our focus to be more holistic than just in the southwest. I mean, certainly as we talk about the Shotgun property, we talk about the Triangle property, there'll be a patchwork of undergrounding there. So I'd kind of like us to expand our focus on the undergrounding.
Okay.
Also, and you talk about the EOC, and I'm totally supportive. If anybody knows how to do emergency operations, Homestead does. And I know it's kind of under the radar, but recall that the county acquired from the feds some significant Department of Labor surplus acreage adjacent to Harb, which was the footprint where the unaccompanied minors were housed a few years ago. I think it's in excess of 20 acres that was awarded on the basis of establishing emergency operations there. So I don't want to get tangled up in duplication of efforts, and certainly I think our proposal is far better than the county. Just, for informational, that's hanging out there. Vice Mayor Fletcher.
Just for note, the recent county commission, they approved the purchase of the old Homestead Job Corps for the urban search and rescue for Miami-Dade County. So that may be part of their start. So that facility will be going into the hands of Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, Urban Search and Rescue. That's the one right next to the old bank site out there.
Right. Well, and that.
I don't know, that's not 20 acres. But
No, but that same property to the east of that former bank building was Department of Labor declared surplus, and the county acquired it, as well as some across the street to the north that they designated as emergency operations. That came up in the conversation the other day with respect to the soccer proposal. So just, for informational purposes. Now, Mr. Manager, are these itemized according to priority or?
Actually, they are listed according to categories. So that's why we're asking for prioritization. In the next meeting, we can, based on what was discussed tonight, we can put them according to priorities that has been listed.
Right. So I
that you
guess,
guys can-
if nothing else, in the coming days between now and the next meeting, folks can individually share their
Yes.
priorities. And again, remember, this is going into the hands of both the federal and state lobbyists to pick up rocks and find dollars wherever they might be able to do so. So what more do you need from us tonight on this item?
It's simply for direction to place it on the agenda for the council meeting on the 18th,
Okay.
which is next
So
week.
let's have a public hearing real quick.
Okay.
All right, so we'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to place this on the agenda, subject to input from council between now and the next meeting for adoption? Is moved by Vice Mayor Fletcher, seconded, yes. Yeah, subject to the comments you've gotten tonight, to take out those two items, at least for this year. And then, you all, and I think actually the staff is soliciting some individual comments to insert that we can come back and consider, a further discussion. So we have a motion and a second, subject to those two deletions up front. All in favor? Any opposed? And the next is tab 13, some council direction. Car number 4479, the William J. Crome Sculpture Plaque Tribute Language. Mr. Manager, is this your baby, or we're going to put Mr. Hennis in the hot seat?
Mr. Hennis, he seems to be the
There we
SME
go.
for this.
Staff seeks guidance from the mayor and council on the proposed tribute language options for the plaque accompanying the William Crome sculpture within Losner Park. Within your agenda materials, there are two tribute language options that have been prepared. One's a shorter version, one's a longer version, so we're looking for council direction and guidance in whether you would prefer one or the other, or options of both, so that we can go ahead and order the plaque so that it's all ready to be installed when we get to that point after the first of the year.
Thank you, sir. And I don't know if you've seen them yet, but certainly subject to some of the corrections and language usage, my preference is one, it's more traditional, it's shorter, it's to the point. Vice Mayor.
So I agree with you 100%. I know there are some minor edits that need to be done, but we also had a discussion this afternoon with staff in regards to understanding that, this is a very short read, for someone, maybe putting a QR code on the statue as well that may have some more in-depth history. We talked about how we could do that. We're not sure yet if you can do it in metal or not. One of the things they have to find out, but allows us to give us a little more history and detail if you're able to have that QR code.
Or photos.
Or photos. Yeah,
Photos in the QR code.
that's all. Thank you.
Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also like to see a rendering of how this would look on the plaque. Like perhaps that first liner, the pioneer engineer, should be larger than the rest of the verbiage, or just want to have an idea.
They do have, I believe, Assistant Manager Brown has a life-size rendering.
Of this plaque?
Yes.
Okay.
Showing the font and what would be the actual size
Perfect.
of the plaque.
I just also want to add that that statue is absolutely stunning, and I think that it would be a beautiful addition to, I think our park is where we ultimately decided, and excellent work to the artist. Our statue looks a lot nicer than some other statues I saw recently, so
Yeah.
thank you for everybody's hard work on that.
And that artist, what a choice that was. I had the opportunity to see many examples of his other work in person, from, the size of this gavel to larger, even more larger than life than our chrome statue. Any other input from council? So let's have a motion to direct. The choice would be option one, subject to some of the edits that I know you all have done, and I've made some suggestions to bring back and go ahead and get that ordered. So I think we're looking for an unveiling sometime in mid-February. All right, so do we have a motion to adopt option one with the edits? That's moved by Councilman Davis, second by Councilman Cannonball. Any public comment? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. And next is tab 14, car number 4450, a selection of LED street light type. Mr. Manager.
I'm going to yield the mic to my colleague, Barbara Quinones, the Director of Electric. She's done a wonderful job to pick out some of those light fixtures. Now, I must caution that what we are asking tonight is about the intensity of the lights, not the style. So that we focus only on the intensity of the light, the foot candle, and how much illumination we want to see on the streets. Barbara.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, and good evening, Mayor and Council. Hopefully you all are aware we have placed a number of lights over on Washington Avenue on the City Plaza side. We have 5 lights there of varying intensities, and they range from a low intensity sort of yellow light to a very bright white light. And the recommendation that we have, but of course it needs to come from you all, but just from our perspective, is to use the very bright white light in the areas that need additional illumination. We would work with the PD to understand where those areas are. And then the standard for the other lights would be the next lower intensity, which is the 4000K light. And it's currently what we are using in the city as our standard, and we would like to continue using that with the exception of the areas that do need more illumination based on the statistics from the PD. But it's open for your discussion and, just which ones you all feel are the appropriate ones for our city.
Thank you. So I know we've all been given the opportunity to drive by, walk around, look at the intensity, and it's my understanding that staff's recommendation now is to adopt the bright white 5K bulb, correct?
Yes.
Now, just to clarify, Someday, we're going to have a complete renewal of chrome in Washington, sooner rather than later. Are we changing the bulbs in the light fixtures that are going to be replaced, or is this for other areas?
These, we have grant money, and we're going to use that grant money along specific corridors. We're looking at Chrome, Lucy, Maury, and 2nd and 4th Streets. And so the money will only go so far. But we have been replacing the existing fixtures with LED for several years now. And we also have replaced specifically those acorn heads with heads that are not allowing the water intrusion, because that's a problem. So we have a better fixture now for the acorn type. The teardrop ones have not been a problem. But so this money will just be used to replace those that are not already LED along those corridors.
Very good. Council, questions, comments? Vice Mayor Fletcher.
Yes, thank you, and I appreciate you all putting those up there so we could all see them. Of course, I've always been a fan of more lumens wherever we can put them, because we do have some very dark parking lots and streetways along through our city. I would ask that, based off of her recommendation, we move forward with approving the highest lumen one, and knowing that we're going to be doing some work on Chrome Avenue in Washington, maybe focus our work on Maury 2nd and 4th Street like you were talking, and maybe hit those last ones later, where we may not have to touch them at all and use those elsewhere. That's my recommendation. I hope everybody else can provide with some feedback. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, so, form of the motion by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilwoman Avila. Let's have public input. Didn't think so. We'll close the public hearing. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. Manager, anything further?
So this is a reminder that this Friday at noon, the city employees will be having the holiday annual luncheon at FICO Williams Community Center. Council is invited to join us, and the city hall offices will be closed during this exercise, and the employees will be allowed to go home after that event. However, there will be maintenance of essential services. I will be back in City Hall till late in the evening, as well as some of my colleagues. And also, I want to inform Council that I will be taking the last 2 weeks of the year to go on vacation. I think in the past 8 months, I've been consistent in showing up here every day. So I just want to take some time off. I'll be traveling with limited access to phone and emails. Okay, thanks.
And I would add 8 months of very long days, and to confirm that Assistant City Manager Brown will be acting in your stead.
There will be appropriate notice to that effect, Mr. Mayor.
Very good, thank you. Any questions from council? All right, very good. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Yes.
I just want to remind the public that the deadline to submit gingerbread houses for the competition is on Saturday, and Troop 1855 is coming in with something for a competition, okay? Thank you.
Very good, that's the idea. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, aye. Good night, thank you, everyone.